there we go. We got the recording going.
Yes.
Hello again. Those of you that are new today, we just want to welcome you. We're so grateful that the beautiful ladies that are here in the portion are inviting friends and family. They're inviting people in their community. And we are just so grateful for that. So thank you for inviting your friends. And thank you for all of you newbies who are here to just be part of this amazing community that we have here in the portion. So what we're going to do is just talk to you about some things about the portion that Simi and I today have had a chance to just, or the things that have really just begun speaking to our heart this week. I know for me, Simi, I don't know, we haven't had a chance to talk, but I'll tell you what, this portion took me in directions I had no idea I was going to. What about you?
It does every year. It is
Every
amazing.
year.
It's like, okay, I see it coming. Ooh, I love this one. And then, you start reading it and I have my notes from all the different years and oh, yeah. The oil and the lamp and all the garments, the priest garments, and you're thinking of all these things and you think you are going to go the same direction like you, and nope, he throws a curve every time.
Every time. Isn't that so exciting though? I love that he throws curves at us.
It is. Because, if not, it gets boring after a while, right?
Well, then we think we know everything.
Well,
can I just say we think we know it?
Okay, let's not go there.
And this Torah portion, truly this Torah portion is all about, you may think you know it, but you really don't know it, because that's not what he is not looking for know-it-alls. He is not. He's not about how much of a brainiac you are or how many things you have. And there's nothing wrong with being a brainiac. Trust me, I depend upon brainiacs.
Well, the beauty to me for that is that, every time that I think I've finally got a big picture of it, I somehow grasp, what this is all about.
Yeah.
Then he said, let me show you something new.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
let's turn that little diamond just a little bit different, right?
Yes.
So that you can see a different facet.
Yep. And then it becomes this new, it's like you're entering a new field. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know all this was in here, but it's so awesome.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, how about if we start off with today's Parsha is Tetzaveh, and it means commanded. And sometimes the English words really kind of put us off, like make us feel like, oh, geez, I don't really want to read about being commanded to do this or commanded to do that. But that's the best thing about historical Jewish literature. Okay, so if we look at the Bible, it's written in such a way that it is challenging you to dig in. It's challenging you to find the gems. And like Simi just said, it's challenging you to see the diamond that you are familiar with and allow the Holy One to just change it a little bit so that you see it in a whole new perspective. Yeah. And to me, that's what I'm going to start crying. I forgot tissues. This is what this Torah portion is all about, because it's Exodus 27:20 through 30, verse 10. May I just do a quick little overview, Simi? Are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right. So then also, ladies, I would really love for us to dig into Matthew 5, because Matthew 5 is basically the mirror image of what we're going to be talking about in this portion. So the first thing is that we are commanded to gather the oil for the lamp that is always burning. Okay, so there is a lamp within this Mishkan, this tabernacle, that is always burning. And it is the requirement of those, the nation of priests, are you finding yourself in there somewhere? Yes. To gather oil, to
Mhm.
gather oil and to make sure that the lamp never goes out. Now, see me, you and I could talk about that for 3 hours.
And we
Just
would
that,
love to.
just
Yeah.
that, just that. And yeah, come
Yeah.
come over to our house sometime. We'll do that.
Mhm.
Um, so there's the gathering of the oil. There is the making sure that the lamp never goes out. Okay.
Mhm.
There is then the clothing of how the priest are to be dressed,
Mhm.
what their appearance is. And each one of the garments is so valuable. And please read this Exodus
Mhm.
27, starting at verse 20, go through 30, verse 10. Read
Yeah.
this for yourself. I mean, seriously, just allow the words to just pour over you. You don't have to understand everything. Just read it and let it pour over you. So then the clothing, we're told about the clothing.
Mhm.
I mean, Simi, I am just like, this is the New Testament. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking about putting on your armor
Mhm.
and how every piece of your armor is what is allowing you to
Mhm.
have intimate relationship with the Holy One. Every
Yep.
piece.
Yep.
And it's every piece of that armor is going to make you look different than anyone else.
Mhm.
The armor that the Kohen wear or the Levitical priesthood wears is going to make them look different. Why? Because they're servants of the Most High King
Yeah.
and they
It is.
have to wear clothing that is different than anyone else's. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then we have the 7 day ceremony that is inaugurating the priests into service. So then we have this inauguration of this cleansing in order for the priest to be able to be ready for service. I mean, okay, that'll preach, right?
Mhm. And the time span, 7,
Oh,
that will preach.
exactly. The
Mhm.
daily offering,
Mhm.
there's a daily offering, and we'll talk about that out of Matthew.
Yeah.
And then also Hebrews 6, Hebrews 7, Hebrews 8. I hope that we can touch on that today. And then the last part of this Torah portion in the Torah itself in Exodus is the instructions for the golden incense altar.
Mhm.
So now that we have the basics
Mhm.
out of the way, Simi, I took a page out of your book and I began drawing and I could not stop. I mean, Simi, you are a genius when it comes to drawing out scriptures. And so that's what I began doing. And I began seeing the layout of the Mishkan, uh, not just in the Old Testament, but how Yeshua walked it out.
Mhm.
And so I'm really passionate about wanting to talk about that. But
Mhm.
before I do, sis, what were the things in Exodus, in our Torah portion of Exodus? What were the things that really grabbed you this week?
Well, we're getting ready for the Creation Gospel retreat
Oh,
this
mm-hmm,
weekend,
mm-hmm.
and we're celebrating Purim. So, of course, my
Yes.
my mind is in Purim,
Mm-hmm.
and it's there is so much there, the connections between this Torah portion and that.
Tell me.
Um, but one of the things that I think that hit me the most is how each part of that, um, and I love that you said it's the New Testament. And I have friends that are
Uh-huh.
Jews and
Uh-huh.
never would even consider reading the New Testament. But
Oh,
when they had,
yeah.
when they did, they said, this is so Old
Wait,
Testament.
this is the
This
Old
is the
Testament.
Torah. Yeah, yeah. I remember one of them said to me, he's like, I was expecting to find a Christian book that talk all about now and had nothing to do with then. And I'm reading this and they can see it. See, we see that armor that you're talking about
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the Romans armor,
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
the the breastplate and the helmet is,
Yeah.
but they don't.
No, they're
When they
seeing it
read
as the
that,
Levitical priesthood
oh
that are
yeah, yeah,
hearing from God because of the
yeah,
breastplate. The breastplate is
yeah.
giving them the voice of Adonai. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, so
good.
it's really interesting how our perspective, we and we do the same thing. So we
Yeah.
go to the Tanakh for the first time, we go to Torah, and we're reading. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is Ephesians. Oh my
This is
goodness!
Ephesians, exactly.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, this is what Jesus was talking about?
I love it. I just love
I
it.
do
I'm
too.
following this lady
Mhm.
that she's doing the Torah, the reading of the whole Bible from cover to
Okay.
cover
Uh-huh.
in a year. And I've
Okay.
never done that from a messianic perspective, so I'm really
Okay.
enjoying it. But I
Wonderful.
love that she says, you know what? You go to my Bible and you won't find that little page that says Old Testament and then the other one that says New Testament. That's the first thing I tear off my Bible when I buy one. That thing comes out. That was added. It's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's
So
one
yes,
book.
it's one book.
Yeah, it's
I
one
love it,
book.
how it
It's
all
so
connects.
beautiful. And you know, in the Jewish chronology of how they have the Tanakh. Tanakh, for those of you that may not know, is the three sections, the Torah, the first five books of Moses, the Nevi'im, which is the prophets, and the Ketuvim, which is the writings. Okay, so in that, the last book of the Jewish chronology of the Bible, the way that it's the Tanakh as it's put together, the very last thing is not Malachi. The
Mhm,
the very last thing is Chronicles. And it leaves us with a blessing that sends us into
mhm.
finding Yeshua, our Hagadol, our Kohen Hagadol, our high priest.
Priest.
It sends us right into that.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
We're used to Malachi with the big, hit you over the head, slam you,
yeah.
you
You
know,
have robbed me.
you know,
You
and
didn't bring
that's
your tithings to the
yeah, yeah,
storehouse.
and that is not
Mhm,
how we don't,
mhm,
that's not how the Jewish Bible is put together. So I really
mhm,
love that, how they
yeah,
leave it with that beautiful blessing that
mhm,
truly does usher us into knowing Messiah Yeshua, Jesus, as our Messiah, as our Savior, as our high priest.
yes.
This whole Torah portion, I am telling you, I always say this, and I know you guys think I'm ridiculous, but I feel like I've never read it before. I really feel like I never read it before. I started seeing this, see me from the perspective of how Yeshua walked it out.
Mhm,
And so that's why I'm asking you all to
mhm.
please read this. If you are watching this on a replay, would you do me the biggest favor ever? Pause right now and read your portion in Exodus, and
Mhm.
then come back on, and let's talk a little bit about how we see this walked out in the life of Yeshua. Would that be okay? Simi,
Well,
would you come with me
I would
to
love
that?
to.
Yeah, come with me
Yeah.
to, let's go to Matthew 5.
Okay.
Okay, so Matthew 5, you all know it. It's
Mhm,
the Sermon on the Mount. Um, and the thing that I love about Matthew is that he expresses everything in such a way that he allows us to see that Yeshua is turning the world upside down. And he is challenging all of the Torah teachers, and he's saying to them, you think that you know what this means in the Torah because you've studied the Torah and you know the Torah, you've memorized the Torah. But what I'm saying to you is this is what this is what it means to walk it out. This is how it is done. And I love that about this, because it's saying, blessed are the poor in spirit. Well, hold on now.
now, let me take you a little
Yeah,
bit behind
go
that.
ahead. Tell me.
So,
Yes.
what about how did they come out of Egypt, the
Hmm.
nation of Israel?
Hmm.
They had to cross the water.
Though it had to cross the water.
Right.
Yes.
How did he
Mhm.
start his ministry?
Yeshua
Yeah,
coming out of the water.
in the mikvah
Yeah.
with John the Baptist, right? With the
Yeah.
baptizer in
He's
the
coming right
Jordan.
out.
And then what happens? Who takes him and where right after that for 40 days and 40 nights?
Into the desert so that he hears the voice
Ah,
of Abba.
yes. And he's tempted, just like we are.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And 40 days and 40 nights, remembering the whole 40 years that it took them in the desert. So he repeats everything
Yes.
again. Everything.
100%. I love
Okay.
that, Simi. I love it. No, no, no.
Mhm.
You keep going. Share,
No, no, no.
share, share that with us.
It's just that, and then he starts his ministry. So then he goes,
Yeah.
this is what it's all about.
This is what it's
Let
all about.
let me walk you through it. So you
Mhm.
continue.
Yeah. You may have heard, you may have heard it this way, but let me explain it to you the way that I meant it to be when I wrote it.
Right.
Let me walk it out for you so that you can see what it looks like in human flesh.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what he's doing.
Hmm.
So for me, the very, very, very first thing, let's see. This is the part that I love. Okay, so I'll set the scene and then you and I, let's discuss this because, this is the best part of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Matthew 5, verse 1, it says, seeing the crowds,
Hmm.
Yeshua walked up the hill, and after he sat down, his
Hmm.
Talmudim came to him and he began to speak.
Hmm.
And this is what he taught. Okay, first off, we're in Exodus. We are studying the Mishkan. We're studying the Mishkan has three parts to it. It's got the outer court where everybody's invited,
Hmm.
the crowds, right?
Yep. Yep.
Then it has the inner part where only the servant priests are allowed in. It's a little bit more restricted, but there's still a lot of people that can come into that. Okay. Enter the Talmudim.
Hmm.
Okay. And then we have the center, the third part of the temple, and that is the Holy of Holies, where
Hmm.
in Exodus only Moshe and Aaron can go in there. Okay,
Hmm.
during this time frame when this is being spoken to us,
Hmm.
when it's being written out, Moshe
Hmm.
and Aaron are the only two that are going in there. Aaron being the high priest, and Moshe is the one where the father said, I'm going to speak to you
Hmm.
from between the cherubim, the cherubim.
Hmm.
And so he was, because of that, we know that he was allowed to be in that space
Hmm.
along with Aaron. So in the kingdom, looking at a kingdom of how a kingdom is raised, the mountain, like Mount Sinai, the mountain on the outside of Sinai, all the people were able to gather. All the people could come and gather at Mount Sinai. And then only the priests who who went through the cleansing,
The
only
elders.
them,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
elders, were
Hmm.
able to go up to the center part. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But only the high priest, or that I'm just trying to use that imagery, if you can see that,
Hmm.
only
Hmm.
he went up to the very top.
Right.
And why? Because the king, his presence was there. His presence was over Mount Sinai. His
Right.
presence was over the Mishkan. In a cloud, he covered the Mishkan during the day, and
Hmm.
fire covered the Mishkan at night, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
here we see Yeshua acting as king.
Yeah.
He goes up the mountain. He sits down. That is kingdom talk. That's
Hmm.
kingdom talk for a
Hmm.
king taking his throne. He sits down.
Yep.
He gathers his inner circle to him, and he begins teaching them. And then their job is to go and teach the everybody else.
Hmm.
So he is imparting this to him. This is where we're at in the book of Matthew. This is what
Hmm.
Matthew is explaining to us. And
Right.
so here we go with all of these backwards things. I love it when it says, blessed are those that are persecuted because of righteousness, for the
Mm-hmm.
kingdom of heaven is theirs. All of the things are backwards. So it was challenging the religious leaders because they're thinking, but if we're right, we shouldn't be persecuted for following Torah.
Hmm.
And he's saying, yes, but look at it from this perspective. So he's not allowing any of us to get too big for our britches and think that we know everything, because even the elect had to have the perspective changed for them if they would choose to hear it and receive it. And
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about, let's see, blessed
And
are those who make peace. Now hold on a minute, because when Yeshua came, everybody thought that he was going to physically
mm-hmm.
conquer as a king
Right.
the land with swords,
Yeah.
and he didn't do that. And so it was confusing to their minds, and he's saying everything's backwards for what they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? See me?
Yeah.
He's just saying, I know
My
that you
ways are
don't.
not your ways.
Yeah, I know. I know you think you know all this, but let me just tell you that when you are hungry and thirsty for righteousness, you'll be filled. Well, hold on a minute now. If you show mercy, I'll show you mercy. I mean, these things were confusing because they were, um, these are the things that come from the spirit, from the heartbeat of God.
Mm-hmm.
So as Yeshua is sitting up there on the mountain and he's saying all of these things, and everybody's minds are probably being scrambled and they're thinking, what? Wait a minute. What? He begins speaking to them. That is, and he's using his words. Let's go back to the very first verse. It says,
Okay, so let me interject there a minute.
sure, yeah.
So going back to coming out of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
he's
Tell
changing
me.
in the desert their mindset. He has to take
Yes.
Egypt out of them. He took them out of
Yes.
Egypt, but now Egypt
Mm-hmm.
is in them. So they see everything through that perspective. And Yeshua is doing the same thing. They've been under
Exactly.
Roman occupancy and oppression
Yes.
for so
Mm-hmm.
long that
Mm-hmm.
they're seeing you're coming with the white horse and you're going to,
Right.
kill all those people, get them
Yeah.
out. So
Mm-hmm.
he has to do again. So it
Yeah.
repeats again. I have to get Rome out of your head.
Right.
Hmm.
And let's fast forward to where we are right now, Simi.
Hmm.
We have to stop looking at everything
Yes.
from most of us are in the Western world that we have a lot of people that are not in the Americas. Um, but those of us, the majority, are in the Americas. We're seeing everything from a Western, very, very Western mindset.
Yes.
And 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 he is telling us, you have to allow me to change your perspective
Yeah.
if you really want to get what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
that's how the the authors of the Torah,
Hmm.
excellent, wise wisdom,
Mm.
inspired by the Holy One,
Yeah.
just like Oliab and Betziel, inspired to do what could not be done.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the Torah. They are
Hmm.
writing these things, and on the surface, it would be something that somebody would look at and then just pass by. Oh, that's meaningless. That's just genealogy. No big deal.
Mm.
Oh, but there's treasures hidden within each and every one of those areas. There's treasures
Yes.
hidden, and that's what he's doing, and that's what he's challenging us to do. Yes, Elohim's perspective, we're being transformed by the renewing of our minds, right, Sarita?
Yep.
And that's what he's doing, Simi. And
Yep.
I'm looking at the Sermon on the Mount with such different eyes today.
Hmm.
uh I hope that I never read the word and go, I know, I know, I know. I hope I never do that,
Oh, I know.
because today I read it and I'm like, oh, Father, I am not
Hmm.
worthy to even be on. I mean, somebody else needs to come and teach this, because
Well, we're just sharing what we've read. We're
we're
not
just
really teaching.
sharing.
Yeah.
We're just sharing. We're
And
not we're sharing.
t talking about a link that was so sweet to me,
Mm-hmm.
because we always hear, oh, the New Testament is where grace is all about, and grace is there, and
Mhm.
discipline,
Yeah, sure.
and your head will roll is in the
Uh-huh.
old.
Uh-huh.
And there were 5 columns to get into the holy place.
Ooh, I love that.
What's the
Okay.
number 5?
Grace.
Yes. So grace has always, in order to enter and be a priest, because only the priest there were a lot of priests, though.
There were
No,
a lot of priests,
the
right.
Levitical
Mhm.
Levies
Mhm.
was big. So that all of them could come into that one when their appointed time was.
Mhm.
But you had to go through grace. You had to go through those
I
5 columns.
love that.
They didn't have to have columns there. Our Father
Mm-mm.
doesn't put things for nothing. He is given us hints all along. And you
Yeah.
have to go through that. And what are columns? Columns are not, he could have put curtains, 5
Yeah.
curtains that you go through that are easy or flimsy and you can move them
Mhm.
however you want.
Mhm.
He put columns. He's like, yes, my grace is there for you. You can come in through that, but they have a purpose. They hold up something. They are a
Yes.
structure because
Yes.
it's not just this flimsy, what is a sloppy grace or something, by people if you say, I don't know what's the word.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, no, no, no. It's, his
Sloppy
great.
agape.
There you go. Something like that. Just know, everybody, by my accent, I'm not American. So just bear with me. I I just kill all your sayings. I'm so sorry. Uh, my husband laughs all the time. It's like,
Does he?
you meant to say this. Oh, yeah, 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 that.
That's what
But
I meant to say.
exactly. But it's good to know grace is, and it's not hard in a way that is rigid. And no,
Right.
it is, it holds us, it gives us support. It's not, the wind is not going to come and take us away from one, a wind of doctrine to another. His
Mhm.
grace is steady, is
Yes.
firm, and that's just beautiful.
Foundation, it's foundations, it's the thing
Mhm,
that holds it up.
mhm.
It's a support. It's like
Yeah.
the letter samech is it's a circle.
Mhm,
And that circle is a cycle, and it is a cycle, and it's a support system.
mhm,
So there is a never ending support system.
mhm.
And the columns are like that. They are the support. And 5 being the number of grace, I
Mhm.
mean,
And what's
it's
the
also
the
5.
5th letter?
Yeah.
What
Hey,
is it?
it is the revelation.
Mhm.
And how
Yeah.
beautiful is that? It's that little open window, you know?
Is the air in our
It is the
lungs.
air in our lungs.
Mm.
And speaking of that, um, in our Exodus, in our Torah portion in
Yep.
Exodus today, it talks about the priest putting the Urim and Thurim on his
Mhm.
chest,
Yeah.
and but it says over his heart
Yeah.
that the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest,
Yeah.
will carry the names and the symbolism of the children of Israel, the 12 tribes,
Mhm.
over his heart. Now, think about
Mhm.
that. Yeshua is our high priest, correct?
Mhm. Mhm.
And he carries us on his heart.
Mhm.
So everything that he instructs us to do, everything that is the revelation of the Father in heaven to us is all coming through grace. It's all coming through the love of his heart. It's not coming through his right hand or his left hand of judgment. It is coming through his heart.
Right.
That's where
And he
he
was
keeps us close.
and he was fastened to
It
his
was
heart.
fastened.
Yes. So it's like, you're not taking these kids away from me. They are
That's right.
mine.
They're
And you
mine.
Mhm.
And he tells us that in several different places
Yep.
that no one can snatch us out of the palm of his hand.
Mhm.
No one and nothing,
Yep.
not hardship, nothing
No
can snatch
death,
us.
no demons, no angels, no famine.
That's
Nothing in
right.
the present, nothing in the future,
Right.
nothing can separate us from the love of God
That
that is
heart.
in Messiah. And
Exactly.
Messiah is the Word. He
Yeah.
is the
He is
living
he is
Word.
the living word. He's
Yeah.
the word alive.
Yep. Yep.
And that's why he says in, in Matthew, it just cracks me up. I love Matthew, by the way. In verse 21, 5:21, he says, "You have heard our fathers were told, do not murder, and that anyone who commits murder will be subject to judgment. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that anyone who nurses anger
Yeah.
against his brother will be subject to judgment, that whoever calls his brother you good for nothing, he will be brought before the Sanhedrin, and that whoever says you're a fool incurs the penalty of burning in a Gehenna." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so what he's saying is this is what you've heard, and this is what you are seeing as your um due diligence, what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But let me show you a more excellent way. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm walking out. He walked it out. See me, he walked it out.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily made judgments on the people that were, quick judgments, but
Right.
he refused to because it's not about sin. It's not. It's about you walking it out with him and you walking it out with each other.
Yes. And that takes me back to Genesis,
Yes.
because it was about obeying the word, and he could have left it there.
Yeah.
But remember, he gave Adam and Eve a command to rule over all the beasts of the field, right?
Mhm.
So go with me here.
Okay.
So we're still in the effort, right? And
Yeah.
it is fastened on his heart, so it can be tilted. It just always stays right firm, straight up, right?
Right.
Just like Torah is
Hmm.
an archer, straight to the heart of the
Yes.
target, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now it is held on the shoulders with 6 stones here and 6 stones here.
Hmm.
What happened on the 6th day of creation?
That's Vav. That's when man was created.
And
And beast.
beast.
Beast
So,
first, then man. Hmm.
so we have 6 and 6, right? So man
Hmm.
and beast.
Hmm.
So what he's saying is, I gave you authority over the beast, but you listen to the beast and disobey me,
Mm.
the head.
Hmm.
So we listen to our body. Ooh, that looks good. It looks good to taste.
Mm,
I'm taking it.
yum.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
I
listen
think I
to
need
our
this.
yes. So we listen to our beast and we don't rule over it, but it rules over us when the
Yeah.
head is supposed to rule the body,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So when you go there and you think, okay, so he put it on the shoulders to remind them, they know what 6 is, you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's like, okay, this is a command. The shoulders is on whose authority?
Mm. Oh,
Mm,
that's good.
it's on his shoulder.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So
I
then he's saying, listen, I had to come like 6 6 to show you this,
Mhm.
because when I spoke it, you wouldn't listen, and
Mm.
you listened to the beast. But
Mhm.
now I am flesh and
Mhm.
spirit.
Yeah. See me, I have to pause. Go ahead. Please continue sharing.
Hmm.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
So ladies, think about this. That is our, and in Messiah we have that authority, right? Because we are in him. So we have that authority to see which one is going to be the one ruling this body. Is it going to be the beast or is it going to be the spirit? And when we do that, we are um we're actually walking out the command to rule over the beast. We also have God speaks directly to Cain and says, sin is crouching at the door outside. you. He's not inside of you. He's outside of you. And he is, his desire is to have you, but you must master it. So again, he had given the command, then they listened to the snake, to the
Mhm.
serpent. They
Mhm.
went out. We see the fruit of it in Cain and Abel. And again, he comes and says, listen, you need to rule over it and don't let it rule over you. So
Yes.
when the priests are holding that in their shoulders, and in the heart is the 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 stones, the Urim and the Thummim, to determine what is the will of God. And so do we. We
Yes.
have that authority that has been given to us, and we are walking as ambassadors of the King. So what do ambassadors do? We tell everybody about our King, our wonderful kingdom, and all the
Right.
rules to live in our kingdom. And we are little, I don't know, billboards walking around
Yes.
bearing the image of our,
Ambassadors.
yes,
Yes, telling the good news of what's going to happen, what the
yes,
king's going to do, who this new
yes.
one on the throne is, how
Mhm.
he is going to benefit you
Yeah.
so that you will follow him. That is the
Mhm.
gospel. And it was
And he's,
proclaimed
yeah.
over everyone. The
Mhm.
gospel is not a new term. It wasn't a term that the
Mhm.
disciples came up with.
No.
It was how every kingdom was entered into. The gospel was proclaimed of who the king was and what he was going to do and
Mhm.
how he was going to bless you and how he was going to benefit you and why you need to serve him.
Mhm.
And then his ambassadors ran around proclaiming the truth of his gospel. That
Yes.
was what it was, the good news. Hey, this
Mhm.
is great. And so go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, little side note.
Yeah. And so if you think about it, Halisa says, and I quote her, I love
Mhm.
this, that she, in one of her teachings, she said, salvation won't cost you anything, because be part of his kingdom, you can come in. Like you
Mhm.
said, it was
Yeah.
offered to everyone. You
Yeah.
want to be here? Come in.
Yep. Yep.
But to grow in holiness will cost you everything.
Yes. Everything.
Because then it's like, okay, I'm going to use myself. So I'm Venezuelan, right?
Mhm.
So I came into the United States, actually with an investor's visa. So I came to give jobs to Americans. I brought my
Okay.
company, and if as long as I had American employees, I had a good standing visa, right? So then, the company closed, and then I decided to stay. Now I don't have my company anymore, so I need to change. I came kind of like an investor into it.
Yeah.
Is called an investor's visa. So I came as an investor. Now I want to become a citizen, right?
Mm.
So then at this point, I introduced all the paperwork and all the stuff, and I had to take a test and learn all the commandments and all the laws, which, by the way, are
Right.
over 4,000, and people just freak out because the 613 are too much to bear. And I had to learn all that
Yeah.
and learn how to live in this country
Mhm.
with its rules and
Mhm.
regulations and all
Mhm.
that. And it's the same thing. So now I can say, I'm sorry, I'm Venezuelan. I live like a Venezuelan, and I'm not going to obey. Well, I'll get ticket after ticket. And if I break a
Right.
big one, then I'll be in jail, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things that it's going to cost me everything to be an American citizen,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
that I can't come the way I was and try to
Mhm.
pretend I'm going to be okay. It's not going to
Right.
work.
Right.
So
You have to
that's why,
change your garments. Change your
right,
garments, right?
and be set apart. That holiness, that's
Yes.
also what it means. I'm going to be set
So good.
apart. I'm no longer, I literally went through a sworn in a
Mhm.
ceremony where I'm saying no longer, in case of a
Right.
war, I will
Right.
be in that other stand on that army. I'm
Mhm.
standing on this one. So there is a lot,
Wow.
and those things we don't think about, but it
Mhm.
is, it takes a lot to say, okay, I want to be here. I want to abide by the
Right.
rules of my
Right.
uh, father,
Mhm.
and this is what it takes. And sometimes, we just want to come and get all the benefits and get free this, free that, and free the other. And then I do nothing. You know,
Right.
that's not life abundant. That's not
No,
what
it's
he
not.
came to give us.
That's not
He
being the
was
salt of the earth.
exactly
Ha,
in the
ha. Did you see
light.
that? Did you see
Yeah.
that little transition? That's not being the light of the
Exactly.
world. Ha.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
happened in the Mishkan at this time in our Torah portion? In the Mishkan, the light was shining and it could never go out, right? So what does Yeshua tell us? You are the light of the world. This is what he's telling. This is the good news.
Mm-hmm.
He is he is the image of the Mishkan. And then he's saying, you are the salt of the earth. Don't lose your savor.
And
Without salt, there's no covenant. So
mhm.
go ahead.
How did that light come about? Did they
From the
just lit a
pressing,
match?
no, from the pressing of and the gathering of the olives and the pressing of the olives and the
That's the oil.
extraction, yeah, for the
But
light.
but
Oh,
right,
the flame
the
was from
flame.
heaven. The flame was from heaven.
Right.
It wasn't a
So
struck match.
exactly.
A-
So
Ask Aaron's boys. It was not a struck. It wasn't a match.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Crispy critters like Rabbi Foreman calls them. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wrong
So
fire.
yeah. Well, but think about this.
Yeah.
So the light comes from heaven, is
Hmm.
God given. He does
Yes.
make light. When he says
Right.
we are the light of the world, it's not like, here I am, I'm going to light myself up and
He's
everybody see me.
saying, Yehi or, Yehi or, light
It,
be.
yeah, it is from
Mm.
him, comes from him. Now we keep it lit, the virgins and the oil, right?
Hmm.
We keep it
Hmm.
lit, and were it only the priests who brought those olives?
No. Mm-mm.
Who
Yeah.
who brought the olives?
Everyone.
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 I have to work for my oil. I can't work for yours. I can work for mine.
Exactly.
But
Which
I have
is the 10 virgins, the
it.
5 that are wise and the 5 that are not.
Mm-hmm,
That's the same. So, ladies, do you see how the
mm-hmm,
New Testament is Yeshua walking out the Torah? And the prophets are supporting it.
mm-hmm.
The prophets are proclaiming it. The
Yeah.
writings are proclaiming it. And Yeshua is walking it out. And when he
Mm-hmm,
said, you are the light of the world, and when he said, you are the salt of the earth, don't lose your savor,
mm-hmm,
he is telling us to be his Talmudim, to be his shadow. That's what a disciple is a shadow. It's a shadow,
mm-hmm,
a zeal.
mm-hmm,
It's the shadow of him. That's what a
mm-hmm.
rabbi is. You follow the rabbi, you follow in the shadow of the rabbi.
Right.
You do everything that he does. Why? Because he's God? No, because he's following
Mm-hmm,
God.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you follow him because he's following. And that's why
Yeah.
Yeshua said, come follow me,
Yeah.
because I'm following him, because
Right.
of course they were one. But I digress. But but really a really amazing point, Simi. Everything goes back to Genesis.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to
Mm-hmm,
creation.
mm-hmm,
Everything goes back to the Exodus, which goes back to creation.
mm-hmm,
Everything goes back to the Mount Sinai experience with the
mm-hmm,
giving of the word and the vocalization of the word and
mm-hmm,
the giving of the word and the writing of the word by the finger of God, which goes back to the Exodus, which goes back to the beginning, the
the
very
begin.
beginning,
Yep.
all over again. And then
Yeah.
now here we are. Then they build the Mishkan, and the Mishkan is just a reflection of exactly what they did on Sinai.
Mm-hmm,
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
It's
Exactly.
amazing. It's like hand in glove.
Mm-hmm. The
Even the
three
presence.
compartments. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes, even the
Mm-hmm,
presence, the cloud and the fire.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
really?
Everything.
But look, but Yeshua was all of that embodied,
Mm-hmm.
walking it out.
Yep.
And when he said you're the salt of and the light, that is Matthew 5:13, okay? And then he goes on to say that at the very end of this, of course, don't murder, don't commit adultery. And he's saying these things because what he is asking, oops, I just lost my Bible. Oh,
I
well.
know. I did
Meh.
too.
Oh, well.
Here, here
He's
she is.
saying these things uh, in order for us to see you've thought of it this way, but now I want you to look at it from this way. So
Hmm.
don't beat yourself up. Do not be condemned. Do not think that you just don't know anything. Stop it. You're created in the image of God.
Hmm.
You know a lot more than you think you do.
Yes.
Just allow him to change your perspective a little bit. And all of a sudden, the word of God will come alive within you, and you'll be saying, oh my gosh, Yeshua, he was walking up the mountain. He sat down. That's him being enthroned. He
Hmm.
gathered his Talmudim. That's the Levitical priesthood coming before him to serve him. And then the others were gathered around lower. It's it's all he's just showing it to us in a different light.
Hmm.
He just
Yep.
wants us to know him. He wants us to know that he is with us.
Hmm.
And one of oh my gosh, I have
And
like
and it's
1,500 pages of notes.
And it's the same order.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the ladies here that are
Yeah.
following the Musar class, and it is
Yes.
order.
It's
The
order.
same order from the beginning, it comes back. And, going back to a nation and
There it is,
being,
guys.
yep, and going into that priesthood,
Hmm.
going through those
Hmm.
5 columns of grace. We're coming in,
Hmm.
and then there are rules to follow. And when we
Yeah.
do, it's like we said, okay, the light comes from heaven, right?
Right.
God gives the
Right.
light.
Hmm.
Then we have, we put the oil, we bring the, I
Hmm.
mean, it's crushed and all that, and we put the oil. But what happens if I don't bring any more oil? I don't bring any more
Hmm.
olives. What happens
Hmm.
if I let those wicks just,
Try it.
yep, and be blocked with some dirt and soot or whatever,
Hmm.
and then there is no more light. So then that is my job, keeping that light going. It's
Hmm.
there are rules in the kingdom that I need to follow. It's
Absolutely. 100%. This is not sloppy agape.
no,
This is not.
no.
And the rules, like, okay, one of the things that I really wanted to get into, which is in Matthew, oh man, I think it's 15. And it's talking about uh maybe it's in 5, I'm not sure. But anyway, Yeshua is saying, I didn't come to abolish the law.
Mm,
And that word abolish, you have to look at it from the perspective of he abolish in that time when this was written to the people that were hearing this and the
mm-hmm,
words. What that meant to them was abolishing the law meant that you were misinterpreting the law,
mm-hmm,
you were misapplying the law,
mm-hmm,
or you were changing the law. That's what abolish meant. And he says, but I came to fulfill the law. Now, to the people who heard this,
mm-hmm,
what that said to them, this is not what it says to us
mm-hmm,
in the 21st century. But what it said to them was he came to fulfill the law, which means he came to interpret it correctly. He
yes,
came to apply it correctly, and
right,
he came to make sure that it was kept.
mm-hmm,
It was a guarding of the word, which is what we back in the garden were told that we were to be guardians. We were to
yes,
guard what
we
God
were to
placed within
guard,
us. He
yes,
breathed his life into us. We became living creatures, no longer
mm-hmm,
beasts, no longer equal with the animals, but we had something different. He breathed his breath of life into us, and we became living souls. And when we became living souls, we were told that we were to guard and
yes,
keep. And that's throughout the entire Bible. We are seeing examples of what happens when we don't guard and we don't keep the word, and what happens when we do guard and we do keep the word. It's not, I hope that
mm,
everybody's getting the idea that it's not about sin. We really need to stop thinking that everything is about sin and I'm
mm-mm,
getting saved from sin. No, what you're getting saved from is teaching you how to walk in holiness. You're getting saved from unholiness into holiness.
Right. Is
Sin is
changing
just
that.
is a behavior.
It's a paradigm.
It
My
is.
cows used to go this way. Now they need to go this way, straight line. Renewing your mind is renewing
Yes.
your thoughts, is creating
Yes.
new patterns of thinking. And I
Yes.
used to think like the world, the Greek
Yeah.
mindset, or
Right.
them, the Egyptian
Hmm.
way. And
Yep.
we need to change that. We need to think like kingdom minded. We need to
Yes.
think like him, and
Yeah.
everything falls. It's sometimes we make all the principles in the Bible be a little bit too out there, that
Yeah. You
complicated. And
can't do it. You can't
right.
do it.
And
You
let me
can't
tell
do it.
you, if I put water all day long in my ear was it was created to receive air, and that air produces waves that move the little bones and sends it to the brain, and the brain makes a sense of what it's hearing. If I put water in there, they hear like the Charlie Brown
Yeah.
cartoon, right?
Wah, 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 wah.
Yes, we can hear right. We get
Right.
ear infections. We have a
Yes.
problem. So it's the
Yes.
same thing. It's like,
Hmm.
I made this computer is an amazing. Actually, our computers come from this. They were
Yes.
made to
Yes.
mimic
They
this
mimic the brain.
perfect one,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
We can't get there
The
quite, but we
eyes, the
everything.
ears,
Yeah.
the yes,
Mhm.
oh yeah, all of it. And
So what
you're so
what
good at
he's
that.
saying is, this is how I created you and created
Hmm.
the world. You're talking about perspective. Can you, hone in and look at me? I was training for autism to do
Yes.
um a
Oh,
specific
wonderful.
training,
Hmm.
and it was all about look at me, is getting
Hmm.
that connection, right? And I
Yes.
remember studying it, and asking the father, what is this? And he goes, you are all autistic. And I'm like,
Look at me. Look at me.
yes, you don't look at me. I'm constantly look at me, and you're
Hmm.
all over the
Yeah.
place. And
Yeah.
then, isn't it amazing though, when you actually do something that he's pleased with you, and you can almost
Yes.
feel that little tap in the
Yes.
shoulder. Good looking,
Yes.
good looking.
Oh,
And that's all
yes.
he's after. He's a good father. He's not here to
Good
see,
father.
okay, let me see when Brenda messes up so I can smash her,
Yeah,
smack
smack
her.
her
And
and
yeah.
send her
No,
into the great
right.
beyond.
That's
No.
not our father. Our
Mm-mm,
father
mm-mm.
is just like
Yeah.
any of us, even better.
Yeah.
We want our kids to succeed. We want them to speak.
Absolutely.
We want them to walk. We teach
Yes.
them how to eat like this and not.
To be contributing
Yes,
adults in the community
yes,
that they live
yes.
in, to make a
Mhm,
difference, to be good
mhm.
people who
Yes,
are beneficial to those around them. And that's what the Father wants for us.
yes,
You know,
that's
it's
all.
beautiful. He wanted us, Yeshua in this Sermon on the Mount, he said that we're the light of the world,
Mhm,
we're the salt of the earth, and
mhm.
that we are the temple of the Holy One. You know,
Yes.
we are, he is the temple. Yeshua is the Mishkan, but he's saying, now you are that. Now you are. So make sure that you're
W
guarding
we are
what
in
I've given
Messiah.
you. We are in him.
Yeah,
Oh, oh, there's so many scriptures
yeah.
I was thinking. So for homework, guys, if you want to do this, I want you all to read Matthew 5. After you read your Torah portion, read Matthew 5, and then read Hebrews 13, 10 through
Mhm.
16, and then also Hebrews 6, 7, and 8. It will make much more sense to you after you've read Exodus, and then you've had this discussion with us, being able to see it from the perspective of Messiah, because it talks really in depth about what the Haggadol, uh, what his responsibility was, and the regular priesthood, they had to sacrifice for their own sins first
Mhm,
and then sacrifice for those who were coming to the altar.
mhm,
But Messiah Yeshua, once and for all, he sacrificed his entire life. So he never has to sacrifice his life again.
mhm.
He is he is now, that blood has now covered the altar
Mm-hmm.
every time we come to him,
Yes.
every time. We still have to
Mm-hmm.
come to him
Mm-hmm.
because we're still growing, we're still learning.
Yeah, because it takes two things to overcome, right?
Yes.
So we messed it up. We messed it up in Adam and Eve at the
Hmm.
beginning,
Hmm.
and then we have to, the like Titus 2 says, so we teach younger women to love their husband, their children,
Exactly.
so that the word of God will not be dishonored. So
Hmm.
this whole overcoming is to honor again the word. That's what the
Amen.
word became flesh to be followed and respected,
Yes.
right? So that it will
Yes.
be honored again the way it should have been. But he says that we overcome by
Mhm.
the blood of the
Blood
Lamb
and
and the
the
word of our testimony. So the blood of the Lamb has already been laid. So that we don't have to do that again.
Mhm.
That's been
Mhm.
done.
His
But the
blood
word
has
of our
been shed.
testimony is individual.
Every
Mhm.
single one of us has to
Yes.
walk that out,
Mhm.
and that is the guarding and the keeping, and
Yes.
that's the shamaring.
Mhm.
That is the standing up and saying, "This is so valuable. I will guard it with everything in me." And
Yes.
that's what we do. That's how we treat our children. We guard them with everything in us,
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And that's how we are to treat this, to treat his words. And not just the paper book, you understand, not
Mhm.
just the paper, um, but his words that were spoken forth from the beginning, his
Yep.
Yehior, his breath inside of us,
Mhm.
all of
Mhm.
the, that's what he wants us to do. And he's telling us, be, don't just, don't just approach the temple, be the temple,
Right.
be the
Because
temple.
in Ephesians, he says, after all that stand,
Having done all, having
having done
done
all,
all. That's it.
stand.
That's right.
Yes.
And
So
that's what we
how
have to
how
do.
does a
Be it.
billboard how can you see a billboard if it's on the
Yeah.
ground? You
No, it
can't.
has to
It has to
stand.
stand. So
It
in
has to
order
stand
to
upright.
be, yes, in order to be his ambassadors, in order to be his image bearers, we need to
Yes.
stand. But we're standing on his blood. We're standing
Yes.
on his sacrifice.
Yeah.
We're standing on everything he represents. It's
Yes.
not my merits. It's not my thing. I'm standing on him. I love that he showed up as a dove on the top of his head
Yes.
before
Yes.
he did any miracle, before he started any ministry. He
Mhm.
came and said, "This is my son in whom I'm
Yes.
well pleased."
Yes.
And if you're talking about homework, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Go to Ephesians and
Huh?
count how many times it says in Messiah, in Christ. 40 times. Those 40 times that they heard the wrong um report, and
Mhm.
they believed the wrong report and
Mhm.
not the word of God. They stayed 40 years. So think about this. Think about not man, but thoughts, because the Bible says we are like trees, and
Yes.
our
Or
brain, our
trees.
dendrites are trees in our brain. Those
Yeah,
are our
we are. Mhm.
thoughts that have to
Right.
be renewed, right? We're
Yep.
talking about changing our mindset. So
Mhm.
think about 40 bad reports that need to die in the desert. All the patterns, all the lies that we have believed, they need to die in the desert.
Yes.
But you know what?
Amen.
While they were in the desert, while all of them died, the pillar
Mhm.
of cloud and the pillar of fire was with them every
Yes.
single day. So
Manna every
we
day.
know that,
Every
oh,
day.
yes, we
It had
have
nothing to
those
do with
thoughts.
their goodness or how
No,
much they did that was right or what they did that was wrong. Every day they got manna. Every day they had a cloud. Every day they had fire.
their
Every day.
clothes
Water.
didn't wear out.
That's right.
They didn't
Yeah.
take showers like us every day.
Yeah. We've got
And
2 minutes. Mhm.
yeah, and shoes,
Yes.
God has given us everything we need to live this life
He really has.
abundantly.
And for
Believe
oh yes. I'm sorry.
that
Go
our
ahead.
Father is good. Just, I just
Amen.
want to say that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm.
I love you so much. You're
I love
awesome.
you.
So, ladies, any of you that are experiencing feeling insecure, feeling like you're not qualified or you're not good enough or you're not, listen, he loves you exactly where you are right now, right here, right now. He is for you. He
Mhm.
loves you. Uh, your circumstances do not dictate who you are.
Mm.
Your circumstances are circumstances, and circumstances come and go.
Mhm.
But you are the daughter of the Most High King, and
Yes.
he loves you. And we're coming into Purim, and you're going to learn all
Mhm.
about, when you're reading the book of Esther, you're going to learn
Mhm.
all about the sacrifice of setting yourself apart to be that daughter.
Mhm.
So we
And
pray
he
over
is the
you.
one that completes
Yes,
it.
exactly.
He
You
completes us.
you
Philippians 1
participate.
6. Yes.
Yes, Philippians
Mhm.
1:6.
Mhm.
You participate. You gather the olives. You gather
Yes.
the olives. You
Yes.
do your part, whatever that is.
Yes.
Whatever that is. Insert here.
Mhm.
You do
Mhm.
your part
Mhm.
and allow him to change you into you become the story. You become the Mishkan.
Mm.
You become who he has created you to
Yes.
be. And
Mhm.
everyone's going to look different, and your spice is going to be different.
Yeah.
Your fragrance is going to be different. It's all
Mhm.
different, and it's all good. So we love you. We appreciate you. Stick
Yes.
with us after, ladies. Stick with us after, and we'll do a very short after party.